What's up, everybody? Just got here to Hard Rock, Tampa. I'm at a downswing right now of a little more than 5 buy-ins, a little more than 500 big blinds. So today I'm going to play again, and hopefully we're gonna get out of it. I'm bringing $1,300, so that's the max I'm gonna lose today. If I lose, I hope not, but losing is always a possibility, and we gotta face that. And let's go. We're back to Hard Rock Tampa for the third day in a row. I lost here in the past 2 days, but I really liked what I've seen. All the tables I played, I found a lot of room to make profit, a lot of loose passive people, loose aggressive people. I really liked this casino, and if you're around Tampa, I highly recommend you to check it out. Great room, great staff, and great people, and we're back to try again. Alright, a really weird thing happened. I gave the guy 1,300 and asked for 500 in red and 800 in blacks, and then the guy gave me 500 in red and 1,300 in blacks, and I gave it back, of course, and he thanked me and I feel like karma is owing me something today, you know. I could run good, right? I think I deserve it today. Hopefully it's gonna happen, and I'm glad that the guy didn't lose his job, because probably 500 less in the stack would be pretty bad for him. So let's go and wish me luck. Welcome to the Poker Profit channel, the first poker vlog created to help you becoming a better poker player. I buy in for 500. First hand, I'm in the cutoff with ace-10 offsuit, hijack limps, which is already a great sign. I raise to 25 in position, only limper calls, so we go heads up to the flop, which comes jack, 7, deuce, rainbow. She checks to me, and I'm gonna c-bet. I c-bet $30, around half pot. She calls, and now I'm already aware that most likely I'm losing this hand after she calls my c-bet. Turn is a blank, a 5 of diamonds. When she checks to me, I decide to check back, because I don't think I'm gonna make her fold too often. River is a 10. Now I got second pair with top kicker. She leads out fast, $50. I gotta call 50 for a pot that has $172. For my call to be profitable, I gotta be right around 25% of the times, and I think I will be, so I call. She shows ace-7 offsuit, and I win the hand. Next hand, I'm in the hijack with 10 jack offsuit, low jack, which is the same woman, limps, and I decide to raise my jack 10 offsuit here to 25. Analyzing the field at Hard Rock Tampa, I think I should be a little tighter here and maybe just open fold this hand, but I'm right in the beginning of my session and I like to build a loose image for myself. Button calls, limper calls as well, so 3 players see the flop, which comes ace, ace, jack, rainbow. There's a relevant likelihood I'm winning this hand. So when she checks to me, I decide to c-bet $25. They both fold and I win the hand. Next hand, I'm in the middle position with pocket 9s. The same woman as before raises to $30 from early position. I decide to flat and play in position against her. Cutoff and small blind call, so 4 players see the flop, which comes a pretty good one. 6, 7, 8 with 2 diamonds. I got the 9 of diamonds. Woman in the early position bets $75. Here against this bet, I think is a pretty clear call. I got an overpair, open-ended, and runner flush possibility. So I call. Cutoff calls as well. And then small blind re-raises to 300. Woman in the early position quickly calls. And now I got a big decision. In this spot, I can literally either fold, call, or raise all in. My effective stack is 620. In case I just call here, I'm gonna allow cutoff to call in position against me and see a turn. And if I shove all in, I'm gonna open up the action for the small blind. Woman in my right has more than 1,000 in her stack. Small blind as well. So what is passing through my head right now is if I call, I'm gonna be totally committed to the pot. So why not just shoving and open up the action again for the small blind to shove as well, and maybe make the woman in my right to fold, or even call with a hand that is not crushing me. I mean, 9s is a great hand here. Most likely I'm behind, but as I have 75 in this pot already, I gotta put 545 for a pot that will have around 2,000. So my average equity has to be around 25-27%, so this shove is profitable, which I'm not sure it is. I just got to this table and I don't have any big relevant information about especially small blind and cutoff. Woman in my right had ace-7 offsuit last hand and her ranges pre-flop seems to be pretty loose. So pretty tough spot here. I'm mostly deciding between folding or shoving all in. If I didn't have the 9 of diamonds, maybe I would tend to fold, and while if I have the 9 of diamonds, I will tend to shove. When I'm at close spots like that, I usually try to find some little reason to do one thing or little reason to do another thing. And this is a really close spot in my opinion. So I shove all in for 620. All in.
He's all in.
Cutoff calls. Small blind calls. Woman in the early position calls. So you got a big pot here. Let's go. Please hit the like for the run good. Subscribe to the channel as well. Also, if you like this content, share with your friends. I really do my best here to help you improve your game. Hopefully I'm achieving this goal, and let's go. Turn is horrible, a 6 of clubs. I need help. Small blind in early position check. River is an ace. Most likely I lost this hand. Cutoff shows set of 8s. Small blind in early position, we're still playing, so that's why he hides it. They both check. Cutoff reveals again his full house, and I lose the hand. I buy in for 500 more. Next hand I'm in the big blind with queen 7 suited. Cutoff raises to 20. Small blind calls. And here I decide to fold from the big blind. Usually when I'm losing, I try to be really aware of how my mind is at the moment. I don't want to be impatient, so I tend to be overly patient in these moments. I could either call or fold here, but I decided to fold. And flop comes this one that you guys are seeing. I usually focus on my decision and not in the result. But this one is a little tough, because I could decide to defend from the big blind, especially with this woman in the small blind just flatting. I actually could decide even to 3-bet pre-flop. I feel like small blind's range is really wide. Cutoff's range is also not that tight, so I could 3-bet here, but I decided to fold and I saw this flop. In the end of this hand, there was not too much action and Cutoff won the hand. Next hand, I'm in the hijack with ace-king offsuit. Woman in the early position limps. I raised to 25. This woman was a great target. Cutoff calls, big blind and limper calls, so 4 players see the flop, which I missed it completely. We all check, turns a 10 of clubs, we all check again, rivers another 5, they show a better hand than mine and I lose. And at this moment, I start to analyze me and how am I doing. And to be honest, I just felt I didn't want to play anymore. I was a little tilted and I thought, man, I'm in a downswing and there's a bunch of things going on in my head. Why not get out of here, like having a good meal, going home and making a video for you, telling what was going through my head, and this is what I did. So I took this loss of $540 and went back to my Airbnb. This is a technique I use to time the audio with the image. But I wasn't the only one in the Airbnb, so that's why I regretted clapping after I did it. But thankfully I didn't bother no one, and I hope you enjoy what you're about to see. Okay, how do I deal with poker downswings and how do I think you should deal with it? Well, I'm going through a downswing right in this moment. You can see all of it in the last 2 episodes and in the starting of this episode right now. I remember yesterday talking to myself and I said a phrase that I think it makes sense to tell you guys. I told myself, not the first and not the last. And why did I say that? It's because if you see my results in the last 3-4 years, you'll see that my graph is made out of upswings and downswings. That's normal, and downswings are part of the game for everybody. If you are an unprofitable poker player, your graph will be mainly out of downswings, while if you're a profitable poker player, your graph will be mainly out of upswings. So the first thing I would advise you to do if you are a profitable poker player is looking up to your graph, because that's what I usually do. When I'm usually in a downswing, I look up at my graph and I see that that's just a short-term thing. That's nothing out of what I made in the last years, you know? I play poker for 9 years now and I've always been profitable since the beginning, and I always had horrible days out of the great days I had in poker too, you know? Any poker player has some brutal days, like that's part of the game. That's the reason why the game is so popular, because even the best poker player, there are days that he loses. Just as even the worst poker players, there are days that they win. And that's what keeps them in the game. So being aware that a downswing is natural is extremely important, because otherwise you might lose yourself on focusing on what is not under your control and forgetting on what is under your control, which is play good. Another thing that I would advise you to do is to be brutally honest to yourself on how are you playing through your downswing, because what happens is that usually when I'm in a downswing, I'm also not playing my A game. So I always try to be honest to myself to see what did I do wrong and what did I do right, because there is definitely a correlation between playing bad and getting into a downswing and playing good and getting into an upswing. If you look at my graph, you will see that my downswings are usually small, you know, they are not big. And that's actually the biggest downswing I have ever had in my life, which is normal because I never play so big in my life. So just as the downswings are gonna be bigger, the upswings are gonna be bigger as well. And what do I tend to do when I'm into a downswing is first try to see how am I playing and how is my head at the moment. Because if I'm not in a good state of mind, I'm not gonna play, you know, and that's what I advise you to do. If you're in a bad state of mind, if you're impatient, if you wanna just get all your money back quickly, chances are you're gonna lose more. So don't play with your head messed up. Don't do that, because that's probably gonna lead you to lose even more. What I do usually when I'm not with my head straight, I just try to do other things, get away for a little bit from the poker tables and do productive things like what I'm doing right now, which is making a video to you guys. Because I feel like that's a really important moment for me, instead of be playing poker, to share what's happening in my life, and maybe you guys can build up with my experience and don't make the same mistakes that I made in the past. As I said before, it's not the first and it's not gonna be the last downswing I had in my life. And one of the mistakes I already made in the past was just keep playing, even if I didn't have a good state of mind, which is a mistake. Because especially if you are impatient, chances are you're gonna lose, because patience pays off in this game. So what I would advise you to do is stay away a little bit from the poker tables, study, be productive on other things. Hopefully poker is not the only thing you do of your life. There is a phrase from Napoleon Hill that I think it's worth for me to say to you guys here. And I take this phrase for my whole life, not only in poker, but in everything, which is every failure carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. So the phrase itself already has a meaning, so you can understand. But what I'm trying to tell you here is that every bad thing that happened to your life, if you are smart enough to get that bad thing and transform into something good, that's great for you. All the times in my life that I had a big adversity, which I have some of them, were the moments that I learned the most, that I grew the most, because there's no growth without discomfort. And a downswing is a great opportunity for you to check up on yourself and see how good are you playing, how good are your decisions. Because in the end, a poker player is a decision maker. You make thousands of decisions in your day. And those decisions come out of where are you going to play, are you going to 3-bet this hand, or you're going to call, you're going to fold, are you going to play tomorrow, or are you going to study tomorrow. Every little decision makes a big difference in the long run. So I would advise you to play when you think you are okay to play, when you think you are patient enough, when you think you are in a good state of mind that is not going to make you do bad decisions. Because again, there is a big correlation between how good you play in your upswings and how bad you play in your downswings. Try to do something productive, try to take care of yourself, work out or do something productive outside of poker if you're not in a good state of mind, because that's the best thing you can do. Using my example right now, today is Sunday 10:16 in the night. I'm recording this video right now. I'm in an Airbnb here in Tampa. And what I'm gonna do is use my time here until that I have 3 to 4 days here, from Monday to Thursday. Instead of playing poker, most likely I'm gonna be editing videos to you. Most likely I'm gonna be editing this video that I'm doing right now so it can help you to become a better player, because that's the mission of the channel. When I was at the table losing 540 today, I really saw myself in an opportunity to get that bad thing and transform into a good thing, which is telling you guys what is happening, what is passing through my head, and how I will react to it. And I'm reacting to it, trying to use that adversity and transform it in something good. Because again, this is not going to be the last downswing in my life. And I know that sooner or later, an upswing will come out of nowhere and I'm going to win a lot. It's crazy how you never know what's going to happen in the next hour. I never know what's going to happen in the next session. I can get into Vegas. I'm going to go to Vegas in the World Series of Poker in like 3 weeks. And I can get there and get into a horrible downswing. Or I can get there and get into a huge upswing. But what is under my control here is see the situation I'm at and try to take the best decision out of it. Because that's what poker players do. They make the best decisions they can every time. So if you really take this game seriously, and if you really take your life seriously, try to do that not only in poker but in life. Try to always get an adversity and transform in something good. I mentioned the phrase from Napoleon Hill, but there is one book that I really advise you to read it, that is Anti-Fragile from Nassim Taleb. And pretty much Anti-Fragile talks about a concept that every successful person, at least most of them, needs to have in their lives, which is anti-fragility. And what is that? Anti-fragility is something or someone that is capable of getting any impact they have in their lives and take that impact and become stronger after that. The mythological animal that represents anti-fragility is the Hydra, which is an animal that has many heads, and in case you cut a head, it grows another one. So in the end, Hydra wants to get her head cut. And why is that? Because if it gets their head cut, it is going to get stronger and stronger. So that's how you should try to be. If you get a big impact somehow in your life, try to get that impact and grow with that. If you make a mistake in a hand, try to understand your mistake and not make it again. Because guess what? Most players still make the same mistakes again. But if you're not like most players, you're going to be different than them and you're going to be improving more and more. So through time, you will build an edge over the other players that is going to bring a lot of profit to you. Everything I'm telling here to you are things that I take into my life, not only in poker, but in everything. And I believe that's why I had so much success, not only in poker, but in anything I put my focus into. Because even if I make mistakes, I'm going to learn with those mistakes and improve. And you should be like that. If you play poker and you still going to play poker for a long time, you're going to go into downswings. And the way you react in those downswings is mainly what defines how good of a poker player you are. How you react to the downswings and how you react to the upswings too. Because you gotta be brutally honest to yourself. I've had many sessions that I won that I didn't play so good, and I know that. Just as I had many sessions that I lost that I played my A game. But I'm always brutally honest to myself on how good did I play and how could I improve here. Because the less mistakes you make and the more right things you make, that's what's gonna make your win rate be so big. Especially in cash game, that there is not so many big hits. You make money in cash game by consistency. Your graph will usually be like this. So consistency and anti-fragility is key for you to become a great poker player. Because every mistake you make is gonna make you better. And every adversity you have in your life, like a downswing, are great opportunities for that as well. So when you are in a downswing, try to get rid out of emotions and think rationally on how good were your decisions before that and how good will be your decisions from now on. Because a bad decision, for example, would be, oh, I'm in a downswing, I'm going to play 5-10 now. Honestly, what I'm going to do right now is try to be productive, record this video to you guys, and when I feel like I want to get back to play poker, guess what? I'm going to go back to play poker. In a month, I'm going to be in Vegas for the World Series of Poker. Most likely when this video is out, I'm going to be in Vegas. So I'm going to take this time to be productive for you and be with a healthy bankroll to play what I'm going to play in Vegas. So I hope this content helps you out to react better for the next downswings you'll have. Because if you play poker, you're going to go through a downswing. There is no escape from that. But you can definitely have shorter downswings and smaller downswings if you react the right way. And I believe one of the main reasons why my downswings are usually not so big is first my edge to the field, and second because I already made so much mistakes in games that were not so expensive as the one I'm playing right now that I understood how to react better to downswings. Today I could keep playing on that game that nothing was working out and there's a big chance I would lose more, but no. I stopped playing, I came back to my house to be productive in another way. So do the same, go read a book, read Anti-Fragile as I told you, or read Outwitting the Devil from Napoleon Hill, which is a great book, one of the best books I read in my life. There's nothing to do with demons or anything like this. It's much more about light, about wisdom, about God itself, you know. I really advise you to read this book. Anti-Fragile is a great book as well, but it's like 700 pages book, so I know that's a challenge for most of you. So if I would advise you to read a book, it would be Outwitting the Devil. That is a 200 pages book. I literally finished this book in 1 day and a half because when I started reading, I just got addicted to it because the book was so good that I couldn't stop reading. And maybe you will experience the same thing as I experienced reading this book. I honestly hope this video helps you out. I'm being completely transparent with you. There's no mask here. Everything I tell you, I lived it and I've been through it. I've had many downswings in my life, just as I had many upswings in my life as well. So I understood that's part of the game. I hope you understand as well. And I hope next time you go through a downswing, you react better because of this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you think some of your friends should watch this video, please share with them. I would really appreciate it. Every video I put in here is with the purpose of helping you out to make more money playing poker. Don't forget to hit the like if you like this video. If you didn't like, you can hit the dislike as well. Subscribe to the channel. The mission of this channel is helping you become a better poker player. And see you next time.